Okay, today we step into a world where the rush of notifications, the endless scroll, and the constant pull of modern life fade into silence. Imagine a space where your mind is still, where clarity is not fleeting but a steady companion, guiding each choice, each thought. In this quiet, even the most tangled emotions can be observed without judgment, and every decision shines with a light of awareness. Welcome to Stoic Dhamma. Today we embark on a journey exploring Raja Yoga, framed through the lens of Stoic wisdom. This is not merely a practice or a philosophy. It is a path carved across centuries, connecting ancient thought with the rhythms of your daily life. Through this exploration, you will see how the teachings of the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, intertwine with the meditative discipline of Raja Yoga, guiding the mind toward inner peace, mental clarity, and a steady heart. As we move forward, notice the subtle lesson. At its heart, Raja Yoga draws attention to the subtle dialogue between mind and soul. Picture yourself in a quiet space, the world's noise gently receding, while inside, a rhythm arises, where breath, thought, and awareness meet in harmony. This practice is more than simple meditation. It is a deliberate inward journey, each moment of reflection cultivating clarity and deep calm. From a Stoic perspective, the mind resembles a garden. Left unattended, distractions and unhelpful impulses take root. With careful awareness and deliberate action, virtues grow and flourish. By observing thoughts without judgment and nurturing mindful presence, Raja Yoga and Stoicism together offer a path toward inner steadiness and thoughtful engagement with life. In the early whispers of Raja Yoga, the sages described the mind as both prisoner and liberator. You may feel trapped by endless thoughts, anxiety about the future, or regrets of the past. Yet, through structured practice, these same mental patterns can become guides, showing where attachment or illusion clouds perception. Marcus Aurelius wrote of the mind's capacity to govern itself, echoing the Raja Yoga principle that awareness alone can shift perception. When you observe without clinging, the turbulence of daily life begins to soften. Consider for a moment the questions that stir beneath your conscious mind. How often do you react to every impulse, believing the external world dictates your inner state? Stoicism teaches that your inner citadel, the fortress of reason, remains untouched by the chaos outside. Raja Yoga complements this by offering exercises to train attention, stillness, and detachment. Together, these traditions ask you to look deeply, what truly belongs to you and what is merely passing through. This reflection is not abstract. It is a practical key to mastering emotion and cultivating serenity. Practically speaking, Raja Yoga starts with ethical principles and a foundation of moral discipline. Here, a familiar resonance with Stoicism emerges. Align your actions with nature, act justly, speak honestly, and practice moderation. These precepts form fertile ground for deeper inner work. When you carry these intentions into daily life, ordinary activities, preparing a meal, walking through a quiet park, or attentively listening to a friend, shift into mindful practices. Each seemingly simple moment becomes a chance to cultivate presence, patience, and self-awareness. By approaching life with this lens, even routine experiences invite reflection, offering opportunities to strengthen clarity and emotional balance. In this way, ethical grounding transforms everyday life into a living exercise of consciousness, merging ancient wisdom with practical, thoughtful action. Yet Raja Yoga is not merely moral instruction. It is a structured map to mental clarity. Through asanas, controlled breath, and meditative absorption, the mind is gradually trained to observe without judgment. Epictetus often emphasized that we cannot control external events, only our response. Raja Yoga mirrors this by teaching that the mind can witness its own patterns without being carried away. Imagine observing waves from the shore instead of swimming within them. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, they rise and fall, but your awareness remains steady, untethered, calm. Now imagine integrating these practices into your day. Morning reflections might begin with slow breath and intentional focus, setting a tone of clarity for hours to come. Journaling your observations, your fleeting emotions, judgments, and insights creates a bridge between practice and life. Evening meditation, even for a few minutes, allows you to witness the day's impressions, releasing tension and reinforcing equanimity. Each repetition, however small, strengthens resilience, echoing the Stoic idea that virtue and tranquility are built incrementally, like careful steps on a long path. But there's another layer. Raja Yoga invites you to explore the subtle connection between thought and feeling, awareness and intention. Consider how a single judgment or reaction can ripple through your day, influencing decisions, relationships, and inner calm. By cultivating attentive presence, you notice these ripples before they shape your actions. Seneca advised reflection before action, a gentle pause to examine impulse and desire. Through daily practice, this pause becomes natural, almost effortless, like observing your reflection in a still pool of water. Stoicism also emphasizes the impermanence of life and the value of perspective. The ancient Stoics, facing plagues, political intrigue, and personal loss, found strength in the discipline of reason. Raja Yoga, arising in parallel spiritual traditions, teaches similar detachment, not as cold indifference, but as a measured clarity that allows you to engage fully without being overwhelmed. Life remains rich, vibrant, and unpredictable, yet your mind learns to respond with calm rather than reaction. Integrating Raja Yoga with Stoic principles reveals the mind's extraordinary potential. Awareness transforms into agency, stillness into insight, discipline into freedom. Daily mindfulness, whether in brief pauses or structured meditation, nurtures this potential. Imagine moving through your work, conversations, and responsibilities with the quiet confidence that arises from a mind trained in observation and reflection. Even the smallest challenge, an unexpected email, a tense discussion, becomes an opportunity to exercise clarity, patience, and choice. Through this lens, Raja Yoga is not a distant or esoteric practice. It is a living, breathing methodology for modern life, offering tools to navigate stress, distraction, and emotional turbulence. As you cultivate attention, the mental clutter diminishes. Thoughts become instruments of discernment rather than chains of reactivity. Marcus Aurelius spoke of turning inward to find freedom. Raja Yoga invites the same journey, offering a structured path to steady the mind and illuminate consciousness. Finally, reflect on the enduring question: why have these teachings persisted for centuries? The answer lies in their universal resonance. Across cultures, time periods, and life circumstances, the human mind seeks clarity, peace, and meaning. Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy provide frameworks, not just for contemplation, but for living fully, with awareness and intention. Each breath, each reflection, each deliberate action becomes part of a larger practice of self-mastery, gently guiding you toward inner balance. From here, we turn to the origins and historical context of these intertwined traditions, exploring how Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy developed across continents and centuries, and how their insights converge in ways that still illuminate our modern lives. Now let us travel back to the origins of Raja Yoga and the Stoic perspective. Picture ancient India, where sages sat beneath sprawling banyan trees, silently observing the ebb and flow of thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations. They traced the subtle movements of consciousness with a precision that continues to inspire even today. In this time, knowing the self was as vital as understanding the cosmos. Breath, posture, and focused attention were far more than rituals. They were instruments for mapping the mind, tools to cultivate awareness, and pathways toward clarity. Here, the seeds of a disciplined, reflective life were sown, inviting each practitioner into a dialogue with inner experience and universal order. Across continents, in the bustling streets and imperial halls of ancient Rome, Stoic philosophers confronted the turbulence of public life. Marcus Aurelius, amid the responsibilities of empire, and Epictetus, navigating the constraints of slavery and exile, each cultivated an inner citadel, a fortress of reason resilient against the storms of fortune. Like the yogis of India, they sought mastery over thought, discerning what lay within their control and what did not. Both traditions emerged from observation, discipline, and an unwavering curiosity about human experience. Raja Yoga's roots lie in texts such as the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, composed centuries before our modern calendars. The sutras describe an eightfold path, encompassing ethical principles, postures, breath control, sensory withdrawal, concentration, meditation, and absorption. Each stage provides a scaffold, gradually refining the mind. Stoicism, in parallel, offers a framework of reason, virtue, and reflection. Epictetus emphasized that external events are neutral. It is our judgment that gives them weight. Here, across time and culture, the same insight emerges. Freedom begins with mastery of the mind. Consider the role of discipline in both traditions. The yogis practice tapas, intense self-discipline, calibrating mind and body toward clarity. Stoics practice daily reflection, journaling thoughts, rehearsing challenges, and imagining adversity to strengthen resilience. These practices, though culturally distinct, converge in principle. Consistent attention to inner life transforms experience. From these foundations, we can see that philosophical insight is inseparable from practical engagement. Knowledge without cultivation remains abstract. Action without insight remains shallow. Now imagine the mind as a landscape, vast and varied. In Raja Yoga, the mind is mapped as layers of consciousness, from the restless surface waves to the deep, tranquil waters of pure awareness. Stoicism frames the mind as a domain of rational governance, where reason discerns, governs, and chooses. Both perspectives teach that observation is the key. By witnessing thoughts without attachment, judgment, or hurry, you cultivate clarity, a quiet power that informs every action, decision, and interaction. The historical context deepens appreciation for these insights. Ancient India faced the complexities of urbanization, trade, spiritual pluralism, and philosophical debate. The sages' exploration of consciousness responded to real human challenges: suffering, desire, attachment, and the impermanence of life. Similarly, Stoics navigated political instability, war, and personal misfortune, seeking equanimity not as an escape but as engagement with life in its fullest complexity. Both traditions recognize that calm insight is forged in the crucible of challenge, not in isolation. Philosophical insights from both schools converge in their treatment of desire and aversion. In Raja Yoga, attachment is the root of suffering. By cultivating detachment, one observes desires without being ensnared. Stoicism similarly advises understanding what lies within your control, desires, judgments, actions, and releasing expectation or fear of the uncontrollable. Both offer a practical lens. Peace arises not from altering the external world, but from cultivating clarity and choice within the mind. Marcus Aurelius reflected on the fleeting nature of life, reminding himself that each day is an opportunity to act justly and with virtue. Epictetus instructed that it is not events themselves that trouble us, but the narratives we weave around them. Raja Yoga adds another dimension. Through disciplined attention to the breath, posture, and meditation, the mind experiences a direct encounter with its own patterns. Together, these traditions teach that self-awareness is not passive observation, but active cultivation of insight and resilience. We also see the value of integration. Raja Yoga emphasizes harmony among body, mind, and spirit. Stoicism emphasizes harmony between reason, emotion, and action. Imagine aligning these streams, your breath steady, your attention anchored, your thoughts observed with gentle curiosity, and your actions guided by principle. Such alignment transforms ordinary life, emails, meetings, conversations, into exercises of presence and discernment. Over time, this repeated practice strengthens not only mental clarity, but also emotional equilibrium. Now imagine tracing the influence of these ancient teachings across centuries. From Patanjali's sutras to Roman manuscripts, from whispered guidance under banyan trees to Stoic meditations penned in exile, these insights have persisted because they address enduring human concerns. Anxiety, distraction, and desire are not modern inventions. They have always tested the human mind. Raja Yoga and Stoicism offer pathways that remain relevant, gently reminding us that inner mastery is both timeless and achievable. Yet philosophical insight alone is not sufficient. Reflection, habituation, and gentle discipline are required. Daily practice, whether through breath, meditation, or reflection on one's judgments, creates a tangible bridge from wisdom to lived experience. The Stoics counseled regular review of one's actions, aligning each with virtue and reason. Raja Yoga emphasizes systematic progression through awareness, breath, and meditation. Together, these methods form a complete guide to cultivating clarity, equanimity, and inner freedom. From this foundation, we begin to bridge ancient theory with modern practice, exploring how these timeless frameworks can enrich contemporary life. How might the wisdom of sages and Stoic philosophers guide our work, relationships, and personal growth? How can daily practices, mindful observation, reflective journaling, and conscious action transform these teachings from texts and scrolls into lived clarity and inner calm? By observing our thoughts, emotions, and reactions with deliberate attention, we can bring the insights of Raja Yoga and Stoicism off the page and into our everyday experience. In the following section, we will move from historical context to practical application, uncovering concrete methods to weave these philosophies seamlessly into daily routines and decision-making. Now imagine the principles of Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy moving from abstract thought into the rhythm of daily life. Consider the morning, when the mind is still foggy from sleep. A gentle meditation, a few minutes of conscious breathing, allows the mind to settle. In this quiet, you begin to observe thoughts as they arise, noting attachment, distraction, or judgment without resistance. This simple ritual, though brief, cultivates awareness, preparing you for the unpredictable flow of the day. Daily life presents constant challenges, testing patience, emotional balance, and focus. At work, emails, deadlines, and interpersonal dynamics can trigger stress. Here, Stoic reflection guides you. What is within my control, and what is not? Raja Yoga adds another layer. By observing bodily tension, breath, and habitual reactions, you can pause before responding. This pause, this conscious space, transforms reactive habits into deliberate actions, allowing calm to guide decision-making. Relationships offer a profound field for practice. Family, friends, and colleagues reflect the mind back to us. Desire, aversion, and expectation often disrupt harmony. Through Stoic wisdom, one learns to release judgment of others' actions, focusing instead on personal virtue and response. Raja Yoga complements this by fostering compassion and equanimity through meditative awareness. You notice irritation or attachment, yet choose action rooted in clarity rather than impulse. Journaling bridges philosophy and lived experience. Morning or evening reflections on thoughts, emotions, and questions create clarity, much like Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, turning internal dialogue into a mirror for the soul. Even a few lines reveal patterns of desire, distraction, or fear. Raja Yoga encourages similar awareness, observing fluctuations of mind and the interplay of thought, breath, and emotion, letting insight deepen naturally. Breath becomes a bridge between mind and body. Conscious breathing in Raja Yoga calms restless energy, while Stoic pauses restore reason before judgment. In a tense moment, focusing on breath creates space to respond thoughtfully rather than react automatically. Over time, this integration of awareness and action cultivates lasting self-mastery and presence. Meditation, though often imagined as seated and silent for hours, can be integrated in short, practical moments. A walk, a brief pause before entering a meeting, or even observing the rhythm of typing or cooking, offers opportunities for conscious attention. The mind, trained to notice its own impulses, becomes an ally rather than a tyrant. Thoughts are observed without attachment, and decisions flow from clarity. Such micro-practices accumulate, gradually transforming perception and action. Stoicism teaches daily reflection on challenges, anticipating difficulty to build resilience. Raja Yoga emphasizes progressive discipline, cultivating strength and calm systematically. Together they offer a roadmap. Morning reflection primes the mind, conscious action navigates the day, and evening contemplation integrates lessons. This creates a rhythm, a scaffold for mental clarity and emotional stability that withstands the turbulence of modern life. Now consider how ancient wisdom can address modern overwhelm. Social media, constant notifications, and the speed of information challenge attention and equanimity. Here, the combination of Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy is especially potent. Through breath meditation and reflection, we reclaim agency over attention. Through Stoic discernment, we choose focus on what aligns with virtue and purpose. In this way, philosophy becomes a tool not of escape but of engagement, enhancing clarity, presence, and effectiveness. Even ordinary routines become practice. Morning coffee, commuting, or household chores can serve as reminders to observe the mind. Thoughts, reactions, and judgments surface naturally. By noting these with curiosity and gentle detachment, patterns of attachment, aversion, and distraction reveal themselves. The mind becomes both observer and participant, gradually refining attention and decision-making. These simple habits, repeated consistently, embody ancient wisdom in everyday life. Stoic wisdom encourages premeditation of adversity, imagining potential challenges before they occur. Raja Yoga complements this with meditative visualization, calming the mind and body. Together, they prepare the individual for uncertainty, cultivating resilience, acceptance, and creative response. Life is not a series of uncontrollable events, but a laboratory for practicing virtue, awareness, and intentionality, where clarity guides thought and action. Evenings provide another opportunity for integration. Reflecting on the day's choices, responses, and emotions consolidates learning. Writing briefly, observing patterns of attachment or judgment, and noting moments of presence reinforces mental clarity. Raja Yoga's practice of self-observation mirrors this, noticing restlessness, tension, or calm, and gently returning attention to breath or posture. This nightly ritual deepens insight and anchors the mind in equanimity. Habits, small yet consistent, shape the mind. Just as Stoics cultivate virtue through repeated reasoned actions, Raja Yogis develop mastery through disciplined attention. Gradually, the mind becomes less reactive, more aware, and capable of responding from clarity rather than compulsion. Over time, presence, calm, and insight naturally infuse daily life. Modern distractions, technology, noise, and constant demands challenge focus, yet ancient methods remain surprisingly relevant. Raja Yoga emphasizes breath, posture, and concentration, while Stoicism teaches reflection on what is within control. Pause before answering a message. Notice tension before stress arises. Reflect before reacting to provocation. These small moments integrate practice into ordinary life, transforming challenges into exercises of resilience and awareness. Imagine life as a canvas, each day an opportunity to weave clarity and virtue into morning routines, work, relationships, and evening reflection. Here, Raja Yoga and Stoic principles intersect, offering a flexible guide that nurtures mental clarity, emotional balance, and conscious, purposeful living. Finally, the integration of these practices fosters profound self-awareness. Observation of thoughts, emotions, and impulses reveals patterns that previously went unnoticed. Awareness of breath, posture, and attention anchors the mind in the present. Reflection on challenges, judgments, and desires nurtures perspective and resilience. Over time, daily mindfulness and conscious action transform ordinary life into a living practice of clarity, balance, and inner freedom, connecting timeless wisdom to modern existence. From here, we transition into reflection and personal application. How do you, as an individual, identify which principles resonate most deeply? How can daily observation, conscious choice, and structured reflection enhance resilience, decision-making, and inner calm? In the next part, we will explore these questions, offering practical guidance for translating ancient philosophical insights into meaningful personal transformation. Now, as the day winds down, imagine a quiet evening where the world slows and the mind begins to settle. In this gentle pause, reflection invites you to observe the day that has passed, the choices you made, emotions you experienced, and responses to challenges. Notice moments when clarity guided your actions and times when impulses took over. Simply witnessing these patterns without judgment creates space for understanding and growth. Through this calm awareness, each day becomes an opportunity for transformation, nurturing insight, resilience, and a deeper connection between mind, body, and inner stillness. Ancient wisdom suggests that self-awareness is the foundation of change. Raja Yoga emphasizes observing the mind's fluctuations, while Stoicism encourages discernment between what is within your control and what is not. By noticing recurring patterns, attachments, judgments, or desires, you begin to map the inner landscape. Awareness alone can illuminate areas where habits dominate, offering the possibility of conscious intervention and intentional growth. Ask yourself, which principles resonate most deeply? Perhaps patience, cultivated through mindful breathing, feels natural. Maybe resilience, strengthened by Stoic reflection on adversity, provides a framework for challenges. Reflection is not about perfection, but about identifying tools that align with your temperament and circumstances. This gentle exploration fosters confidence, revealing that ancient philosophies are not abstract ideas, but practical guides for living fully. Notice how the body mirrors the mind. Posture, breath, and subtle tension often reveal inner states before thought fully registers. Raja Yoga guides attention to these sensations, using the body as a doorway to mental clarity and focused awareness. Stoic philosophy complements this by fostering acceptance of circumstances and emphasizing thoughtful, virtuous responses. By observing the interplay of mind and body, you learn to recognize stress early, respond intentionally, and cultivate a steady calm. Over time, this awareness transforms ordinary moments into opportunities for presence, clarity, and resilient equanimity. Journaling reinforces self-application. A few minutes each night, writing observations about thoughts, emotions, and reactions, transforms experience into insight. Patterns emerge, triggers, recurring judgments, or moments of presence. Marcus Aurelius modeled this reflective practice, turning fleeting thoughts into a deliberate dialogue with the self. Over time, journaling becomes a mirror for growth, revealing the subtle ways ancient wisdom can shape modern living. Relationships offer rich ground for reflection. Conflicts, misunderstandings, or fleeting moments of irritation reveal habitual responses. Through Stoic detachment, you can release judgment of others' actions, focusing instead on cultivating virtue within. Raja Yoga provides complementary insight. Observing emotional responses with calm awareness allows space for empathy and conscious choice, creating harmony between intention and action in social interactions. Now imagine integrating these insights into decision-making. Before responding to tension at work, pause. Observe breath, notice impulses, and reflect on long-term goals. This moment of deliberate choice transforms habitual reaction into conscious action. Similarly, in personal relationships, taking time to witness your own responses before reacting nurtures clarity, empathy, and emotional balance. Small, repeated interventions accumulate, gradually reshaping patterns of behavior. Daily reflection also strengthens resilience. Stoic practice of imagining potential difficulties prepares the mind for challenges, reducing fear and reactivity. Raja Yoga's meditative visualization reinforces calm and focus. Together, these practices help the mind navigate uncertainty with steadiness. Life becomes less about controlling external events and more about cultivating inner mastery, turning each obstacle into an opportunity for insight and growth. Self-application is not limited to structured meditation or journaling. It extends to ordinary moments, waiting in line, commuting, or performing routine tasks. These intervals become opportunities to observe thoughts, check posture and breath, and notice emotional states. Through consistent, gentle practice, awareness becomes habitual, allowing the mind to respond with intention rather than being swept by reactive impulses. Consider challenges that once felt overwhelming. With consistent reflection and mindful practice, your responses begin to shift. Emotional turbulence softens, clarity deepens, and decision-making becomes more centered. The mind evolves into a conscious participant in life, noticing patterns rather than reacting automatically. When applied intentionally, Ancient principles form a framework for resilience, presence, and ethical action, guiding each step with calm insight and deliberate engagement. Reflection also nurtures gratitude and perspective. Observing daily experiences with awareness reveals fleeting moments of beauty, kindness, and learning. Stoic philosophy emphasizes appreciation for the present, while Raja Yoga encourages attunement to subtle joy and inner stillness. By consciously acknowledging these moments, the mind moves away from distraction and craving, grounding itself in presence. This cultivates a lasting internal satisfaction, independent of external circumstances, allowing each day to unfold with clarity, balance, and mindful ease. Now imagine repeating this process consistently. Each morning, meditation sets a gentle intention, grounding the mind before the day begins. Mindful engagement throughout daily activities nurtures awareness, allowing attention to settle on what truly matters. Evening reflection consolidates the lessons of the day, revealing patterns in thought, emotion, and action. Over time, these practices gradually internalize wisdom, so that in moments of stress, uncertainty, or decision-making, clarity and calm naturally emerge. Emotional reactivity softens, insight deepens, and life becomes a series of intentional actions rather than automatic responses. Reflection also invites integration, encouraging you to turn observation into a personal philosophy. By noticing habitual patterns, testing responses, and refining attention, you cultivate a practical framework for living consciously. When combined, Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy form a roadmap. Awareness fosters presence, discernment guides choices, and intention aligns thought, emotion, and behavior. Ancient wisdom transforms from abstract theory into lived experience, cultivating resilience, inner peace, and clarity. As we pause here, consider which practices resonate most with you. Which habits might shift how you respond to challenges, nurture relationships, or structure your day? Reflection is the bridge between knowing and doing, turning insight into sustainable practice and wisdom into an everyday companion for life. From this point, we move toward the conclusion, where we will summarize the journey through Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy, exploring how these timeless teachings continue to guide the mind, support clarity, and nurture lasting inner peace. As we close this journey, remember that Raja Yoga and Stoic philosophy together offer more than abstract ideas. They provide a living guide for clarity, calm, and inner peace. Through mindful reflection, intentional practice, and awareness of body and mind, ancient wisdom becomes a practical companion for modern life. Each choice, each moment of observation, nurtures resilience and emotional balance. Take time to explore these principles in your daily routines, noticing how they influence decisions, relationships, and personal growth. Share your reflections, questions, or insights below, and continue this exploration with us. Subscribe to Stoic Dhamma to receive more journeys into ancient wisdom, guiding your mind toward lasting clarity and tranquility. Next, we'll explore ancient philosophy teachings on caste and spiritual equality practices, diving deeper into practical application for every day.
References 1. Forstein, G. 2008. The Yoga Tradition. Home Press. Point 2. Aurelius, M. 2006. Meditations. Penguin Classics. Point 3. Epictetus. 1995, Discourses and Enchiridion. Oxford University Press.